Hi, when your test takers complete the test, you'll get their score report in your dashboard, and you'll also get it as a PDF attachment that's emailed to you. And so there's generally two types of tests, skills test and behavioral test. And this first example is how a typical skills test score report works. You see at the top the person's name, email ID, the time or the date they took the test, and how much time they spent inside the test itself, as well as the time that they started the test. Then this percentage here, 92%, of the questions they got correct. And this, if it shows this account score, this is kind of like a benchmark for this specific test, so it helps you give a general comparison of what the average score is for the test. Then it'll break it down by level with percentage correct. So this example, there's 18 basic level questions. They got 100% of them correct. Break it down by topic. So in this here, there's 6 editing questions, 100% of them correct. And then at the bottom, you'll see a table for each with a description of each question and if it's correct or incorrect, how many seconds they spent on it, and the skill level for that. So this one's simple to understand. The main number that everyone is looking at is this percentage correct score, and if there's any sort of comparison here. For the behavioral tests, such as our EQ profile for emotional intelligence, they work a little bit differently. You still get the same information at the top here, and then many of them have an external clicks counter, which counts if they're clicking outside of the test taking tab. Then we have the 72%, but that's not percentage correct. That's a percentile. So this means that this test taker scored higher than 72% of the people who've taken the test. That number is generated as a composite number from these topics here. So these are the topics in the EQ profile, and you get a percentile score for each of these topics, 86, 78, 93, and then it goes into more detail for each of these topics with a really in-depth description of what the topic is about. So relationship management, in this example, the score gives you the average time they spent to complete in each question in this section, how strong their responses are when they're using strongly disagree to strongly agree, and some of the expected behaviors that you're going to get as it relates to this specific topic. So this will be for each of the topics. It has the same information. Then it has management strategies. So suggested management strategies based on their score for each topic. And then finally, as a bonus, you get sample or you get suggested interview questions for any area where they may not have scored so well. So you can see relationship management, tell me about a time that you were stretched to get along with somebody at work. And you can use these during the interview to probe a little bit more, a little bit deeper based on how they performed on the test. So these are two different types of tests. The results, or the score reports are really in-depth, but if you have any questions about how your specific score reports work and you want to go through them to better understand them, let us know. We're happy to walk through each of it so you getting the full value and you understand everything that the test is providing.